today we are with the head honcho, the man with the plan,
Kingpin.
the kingpin, the goat, Mr.
Stop,
Joey
stop,
Flexx.
stop.
One of the first things I'm curious is the name Joey Flexx. Like, where did that come from? What's that about?
Like straight up, to like when Instagram first started,
Yeah.
I think I saw like a bodybuilder that had that with the double X in the name, and I started thinking about it. And then my name was Joey, so I used to be like very shredded, and so I changed my name to Joey Flexx. The way Flex, the logo and stuff came to be is I just like X-Men. So like, and also our team is very diverse. We have all different types of abilities.
All these mutants. Yeah.
All these
Yeah.
mutants.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I just added another X to it through the circle. And then also there's a game very, very long time ago. You guys probably know what Mega Man is, but there was a game called Mega Man X that I played on the Super Nintendo. And the way that the X was like set up, I was like, wow, like started putting it together, and that's how that came to be.
You mentioned when you were super shredded. I've seen those photos.
Yeah.
What was the journey, I guess, from like, the very beginning? Shredded Joey through to powerlifting.
Well, I guess it was that person is a manifestation of my mind. And when you're very durable, at that time, I was very durable. I ran a lot. I would lift weights and run. I would train 7 days a week. I was like a robot. There was no time for fat to be formed, right? I loved working out. I loved being in the gym, and that was just what I looked like, living the lifestyle that was fun for me. Yeah. And then as I got older, got into American football, needed to be bigger, started gaining weight there. And then when I hurt my back in football, I remember trying to run. I think it was 21 or 19, something like that. I had a lot of pain in my back, so I couldn't run the same, but I found powerlifting, and I could do that, and I was okay doing that. And then I just got into that, and it was in my best interest to be bigger, to be more durable. Yeah. My back problem was like disc related, so it was like not something that typically heals. Okay. It can improve, but it doesn't really go away. And I just was able to be a powerlifter, and that was barring some restrictions, like. Okay. Deadlifting conventional consistently was like not something I could do all the time. Yeah. Sumo really bothered my knees for whatever reason. But I just stopped being as active and became like, it was almost like powerlifting could fit what I was able to do. But if I was like more durable, I guess, and I didn't have the issues that I had, I would probably still be. I am doing like I like do like 10,000 steps a day and all that stuff now, and actually open worlds, I was like, I was heavy. I was like 260 something, and then I got down to like 240 something, like 240s, low 240s pounds, and then now if I had to guess, I'm probably like just under 250 maybe, but I think I'm ready to, cause like I did that quick. I did like 5.5 weeks. And then I was like, okay, that's good, but like now you're gonna reset. You gotta let the metabolism come back. And I think I'm gonna do one more stint, try to get down to the 230s. But
Shredded Joey.
I don't know. We'll just. I'm gonna work towards it, but it's like, it's almost like it's not the number one priority. There's like other things too, and also like I only recently got to a point where like I had like nerve issues like in my feet from stuff that was going on in my back, but I got that fixed, and like it takes time to heal, but I'm like doing way better. So hopefully if things keep up, and I think I found the right combination of like I just do like high bar squats, I bench like every other week, and then I'll do like some kind of RDL, and as long as I keep that with my bodybuilding on top of it, my body's like doing fine, and I'm not really like getting worse. And I still have some troubles like going, like if I have like a conventional, like if I'm doing like a little too heavy, it'll like, it's almost like the muscles in the back are, I don't know, it's strange, but it goes away. And I'm starting to really like learn my like new body, I guess you could say. And so we'll see. It's just like a passive thing, like a goal. We got to have goals, right? Mm-hmm. We got to be moving towards something. We got to be working towards something. And you never just can be stagnant. And but yeah, I would say it's probably inevitable that I get like, I'll probably get within striking range of being like very lean, and then I might just like hit up Berto or something. But let's do the last. let's do the last
dig,
like yeah. Let's do the last little a dig as you said. So, but yeah, that was why like it wasn't. I mean, I don't know if I never had injuries or anything, I probably would have stayed lean. But I do feel like everything. I don't know if everything happens for a reason. I just know that it happened, and I did something. I made something of it.
Something pretty good.
Yeah, you made
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't.
It ended up pretty good.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I wasn't like, growing up, everybody's like, got to go to school, got to do this, got to do that. And for me, I remember being in community college, and because everybody said it was cheaper to do 2 years there than transfer.
Yeah.
I remember the iPhone started getting ramped up. It started getting ramped up. It started getting like better and better and better. And I was like, okay, I could do a lot with this. I think with my personality and my, like who I am, I could probably find a way to work from this thing. We didn't have social media the same.
Yeah.
Instagram used to be just pictures. And I actually thought social media was dumb. And then my girlfriend at the time was like, "Oh, you should get it. You should post your lifting. Like, who knows?" And I was just like, "No, like that's like I don't care. Who cares? Who doesn't want to see me lift?"
I had that exact thing on TikTok.
Right? I thought it was
yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
I literally, I just, I don't know. It's like, and I think the deeper side of that is, I originally started lifting for me, like because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it for others. I wasn't trying to, do stuff like that. And I think now you see the opposite. You see people doing it because it's like a social thing, but then once they get into the nitty gritty of it, they like fall off. Like to me, the concept of, I'm sure you guys have seen people that have like come and go. That's like that would not ever happen for me. I was like, bro, I don't care if I'm just doing bicep curls on a preacher curl in a wheelchair. I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. It was kind of just burned into my brain, and I started posting things, and I was like one of the earlier people to do it. It's like a combination of things. I was like first. I wasn't first, but I was early. There wasn't really someone like me at the time that I could see, or maybe there was, but I don't know. It worked out, and started to lift myself. And I specifically remember, I've told this story a couple times now, being at a LA Fitness. I was training people there. I finished my shift. It was like 5 o'clock. I eat my chicken and rice, give myself 45 minutes stretch, and then I'll start squatting. There was a big, like, super enhanced, like, bodybuilder guy I think his name was Jared. He used to come in, and he looked crazy, like incredible. And we would just work out together. And I'd put on like 5 plates, and I'd just do like pause squats, like sets of 5, like whatever. Like for us, it's like, right? It's like, like, what is it, like 225 or something? Yeah. But the whole gym was looking at me, and that gym was packed. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like these people don't know what powerlifting. They've never seen that. Yeah. And all these people are coming up. I'll go get water, like, hey man, great squats or whatever. And I'm just like, this is something. Yeah. This is, I don't know what it is, but it's something, right?
What year are you talking?
2013.
Yeah.
So I was like early.
Yeah.
I don't even think we had the IPF affiliate like in Ireland at that time.
Definitely
No.
not. Definitely not.
Yeah. So I remembered that, and then people started asking me, like, "Hey, can you teach me that?" And I was like, "I could, but why would you want to do that?" So, so then, I started out like training Tina and training my friend Blake and one other friend just for fun. Like, wasn't getting paid for it. I didn't really care to. And then, one thing led to another, and I started to gain some momentum in my own lifting. And then I found out about like drug-free lifting, and I was like, I was always clean, but I was always just lifting with the enhanced guys because that was really all there was. And then I was just like, okay, let's let me try that. And then I did that. That was really fun. And then a guy by the name of John Hack hit me up and said, hey, man, you mind helping me out? And I was like, I didn't really know the significance of him. I was just kind of like, oh, sure, you want to get better? No problem. Then he won national. Go ahead.
How many people were you coaching at this stage? Like, why was it that John came to you?
not counting the in-person people from the gym, it wasn't that many. It was maybe like, when John came to me, probably like, I want to say maybe 30, 40.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was mostly local.
Okay.
Like the USPA local scene was like really big,
Yeah.
and I was just everywhere. I was just at every meet, handling as much as I could, trying to, do that, and like nobody else was doing it like to that degree.
So you were the man.
I remember,
somewhat, like,
yeah, I remember flying to Vegas, handling 59 kg, or I believe, I think it was 59. Won that, flew right back the same day. So I remember that, and again, people I feel do that now, but it wasn't common.
Yeah.
And then John hit me up, worked with John. He obviously did well. And then I'm so thankful for Gibbs, because Gibbs was like the Russ of the time.
Yeah.
And when we beat him, that gave us a lot of momentum. It put my name out there.
Mm-hmm.
I spent the whole week helping the sub juniors, and like nobody like noticed, but like with that, it exploded. I remember my life was distinctly different after that day.
Yeah. How so?
Emails exploding, people asking me all different types of questions. Lapidat was running the IPF page at the time.
Yeah.
He had me do a Q&A on there, and I answered like 200. I remember it was 216. Because somebody they got the Instagram post and made it a words, like text, and like emailed it to me, and I was like, oh shit, snap.
Here we go.
I was like, that's crazy. So I remember 216. I got like a lot of exposure from that, and then after John did that, he did nationals. That was the first prime time ever in 2016. That was cool, but then I remember, he had, like, what more is there for him to do? And then he went his way. He came to nationals and told me that he was going to try something else, try like the other Fed. And I was like, no problem, man. Like, I really respect you for coming here to tell me that. Because we were so, it's like family stuff. And coincidentally, I don't even know if Russ knew about him, but like Russ hit me up. I actually ran into Russ twice randomly at the Arnold when I was competing. Like the first year, I ran into him, and we just said hello, and like he introduced himself, and I was like, I'm about to squat in 10 minutes. And then the second time, he actually hit me up after that, but it was like a whole year went by. And then obviously won with Russ, and then just kept building him and building up Keiko and doing all that stuff, and it just one thing led to another, and here we are. So, and I'm just, I'm very thankful for the journey, but I do think it's like right place, right person, right time. And man, I don't know. It's just, now we're like 3 Sheffields in, and I think it was like 5, 6, and 5 lifters each time, and it's like, I don't know how I keep doing it. I'm just gonna keep trying. Every year, it's like, man, I don't know how this is gonna play out, but you just do your best, and whatever happens, happens. Sometimes you pull hook grip, and on the last minute you switch to mixed, and anything can happen, and you get it done, and you end up having a moment that you forget, you remember forever, and I think at the time when John won, it was like, oh, is this guy gonna be like a one-hit wonder? It was a fluke, whatever, but I kept returning with different people and kept winning with different people, different weight classes, it doesn't matter. And I think that really just kind of like cemented me as whatever I am. And, it's, I now am at a point where I'm just like I said to you before we started, I will not be defined by one meet. I have he asked me if I was stressed coming into this, and I'm like, brother, I'm gonna do my thing, and my lifters are gonna have to execute, and whatever happens, we live with it. But I'm excited about some of them. I'm very excited because like when you've built up something so big and you're ready to present it, it's like, hey world, look at this package that we brought. And for others, there's like a very strict script we're sticking to. So you're gonna stick to the script. You're gonna handle business there and try to get paid. And after that, it's like U.S. Nationals, like right after, like 9 weeks, I think, or 10 weeks. And that's going to be like probably the most stressful one of the year. And then Worlds, Worlds is, after that. So then World Games, like we have no information. I have no idea what's going on. Like, yeah, I know what's happening, but like, I'm like, what are we doing? Do I need a visa? Like, what's happening? So, that's the year pretty much. And then I think I might try to sneak juniors in there, try to get to juniors, and then we'll see. But yeah, it's just, it's like in American football, we have a saying that's like, you have to have like, it's almost like you say next play or short-term memory. So like you do one, like great. We'll learn from that in the film room. We got to worry about the next play right now because there's literally, something in front of us. Yeah. So it's like we hit this and then I'll have my meeting the week after with everyone and be like, okay, what do we want to do? What's the next plan of action? And some of them will be like, we don't need to do nationals because we hit a high enough total. Like no one's going to beat Jesus, right? Yeah. And then some of them may like, my weight class is really competitive and I want to go to Worlds again, so I need to compete, which is kind of tough, right?
American Nationals.
It's going to be a war zone.
Right.
It's going to be a war zone. Yeah, and also like, I want my lifters to, having done this multiple times now, I want them to be in the moment because, the first year I was like suspended, so I had to like wait. And I watched from the front.
Yeah, throwing up signs.
Yeah. I was like, 7. The next year I got to be in the back, but the huge difference that I noticed was I did not get to experience like anything from the back. I was just working the whole time, and then I was like, oh dang, the meet's over. When I went back into the lifter recaps and I'm like watching it, I'm like, oh okay, like kind of seeing it from the audience perspective, but it's very different. And last year, this is something that I don't know if it's a good or bad trait, but so the first year, Jesus won, Keiko second, I think Gavin third, and then Delaney was fourth. So great turnout for the boys, right? Yeah. For the girls, I think Amanda obviously is a really tough position because she pushes hard every single time, and the way this meet is scored is like, how much can you beat yourself, right? Yeah. And then the next year, Keiko second, again, very good, right? Delaney third, very happy to get him there. Yeah. But because Jesus didn't win again, it was like, oh, you did something less than before. And I had this like, it felt like it was like just so heavy and bad, right? It was like such a sad feeling. I really truly felt like we lost or something, but it's like, dude, like it's not World, like it's okay. You still got some records, Yes, we could have taken the easy third deadlift, but he really wanted to go for it. And it was something that me and him had to like kind of wear on our sleeve and be like, look, like we made these decisions. It panned out the way that it did. And we're going to fix it. And came into Worlds, it went 8 for 8 because we didn't take a third squat. And, now he has an opportunity to come back to this meet and fix those things. And also for me, what I've learned is, like, I gotta enjoy the moment. Like, I'm here with you guys. Like, last time I was just like so locked in. Like, I remember the boys came and like I was working, and the day after the meet, I didn't even hang out with anyone. I just like worked, and I was like, I don't think that's right. Like, I think I need to absorb the moment. Like Malta, I felt like I did a good job of like kind of absorbing it. Also, it's split up. It's split up, right? It's like this weight class, this weight, every day. Here was like everything at once. And I put a lot of stress on myself to just like, anything that's not like, when the expectation is you have to win and you just fall anything short from that, it just feels like a complete failure, which is not true. And it's like, there's so many positives from it. And, it's kind of like I don't know if it's like I want to say burden of being in this position, but look at Russ at Worlds. Technically, we had 3 gold medals, a silver, and a bronze. And one of them was like a baby lifter, like Cranon came out of nowhere, right? But because Russ didn't win, that's the main thing that people are going to look at and focus on. Yeah. And that's it. The world will make you feel like you're a failure and that you lost everything. But at the end of the day, what left really is there for us to prove. Like I can confidently say, and I remember him telling me this in 2017 when he came out to LA to visit. I was like, what do you want? What's your goal? Like, what do you want from this? And he's like, I want to make an impact and leave it better than when I came in. And I can say that right now, from that time when he came, when like we teamed up to like this moment, the sport is different. Yeah. Obviously, everybody plays a role in this. You're doing your part. He's doing his part. I'm doing my part. Everybody's doing their part. But
Russ has done a pretty big part.
He's done a big part, and he's inspired a lot of people. And you know, I just want him to feel like you don't need to prove me shit. I know who you are, and I know what you're capable of. Let's have fun out there. Let's take our shots. Let's do what we're gonna do, and then after, let's try to enjoy it. Like whatever happens, and then there's maybe he does Nats. Maybe he goes up. Maybe he takes a year off. Maybe he does World Games. There's so many different paths that we could take, and I just hope that he can take it in, because I think that this is a meet that the last year's. This is made for him, I feel. This is his kind of meet. And him missing that, it's weird. Like him not being here, I was like, it doesn't feel right. But then him being here and me not having Keiko and Delaney here, if it doesn't feel right. It's like, you know, and I've really started to understand the gravity of tomorrow is not promised. And I don't know how many times I can get everybody here. I don't know how many times that can happen. So please, 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 like, enjoy it, take it in, and no one will ever be able to take that away from you. And that's kind of what I want to emphasize this year with them, is just, like, win or lose, like, please enjoy it. And don't let whatever you lift out there, like, bring you down. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's more of a money meet. It's not the world title. It does have implications. But like even last year with Keiko, Gustav like chipping him, I didn't feel like Keiko lost the world title. I felt like I sandbagged his bench. You know, so it was, I wanted him to get paid. I wanted him to keep that record. So yeah, it's that
mindset, I would say that's something that we try to talk about a lot. And I would say you have instilled that within me, and we talk about it on a level, say like Malta is a good example. When we were over there, we were just having a good time. Like our session was the funniest session ever,
it was honestly such a good time.
Yeah, just taking in the moment, appreciating it, being around like such a good community, people that you care about, like really soaking that in. And while we can talk about it, say at the World Championship level, there's almost like a bit of hesitation that I don't know what it would be like at Sheffield, the biggest meet. But even then, you're still reiterating that this is what we want to prioritize first and foremost. Really living in the moment.
Yes, living in the moment. And when I think nerves are good, but fear, I'm like, oh, okay, there's this thing that people are fearful of, right? And I'm like, what if I just explore that fear? What is that fear? Right. What if I dive into that fear? And then I live in that reality in my head for a minute, and I'm like, it's not that bad. I still wake up tomorrow, you know? It's, in LA, people's houses are being burnt. You know, they're losing everything. They have nowhere to stay. And there's nothing that's gonna happen in powerlifting that's gonna be that bad. So, you know, it's just some perspective, and then knowing that there's probably going to be another meet, and you know, you live to fight another day. And I think this sport can really teach us how to handle adversity, right? Like you put so much into something for one day, and then if you don't get it right, it's like it feels bad. But imagine fighters, right? Imagine a fighter. You train for 20 weeks or even more sometimes, and then you get to this moment and there's so much at stake, and you get knocked out in like 30 seconds. It's like, I think that might be the worst.
I think so too.
Right? Because you just, everything that you just trained for, out the window. Like, you don't even have, and then you see the fighter have this kind of face of like, oh, like, dude, really?
Can't
like,
that
quick. And it's like when the guy pulled out of the fight last week, I was like, oh, man, I'm so ready. But yeah, I don't know. It's it's important to just like nothing good comes from just like living in self. It is a good. It can be a trait that can help you do well if you hold yourself to like a high standard. But at the same time, like I try to teach my juniors, like you're still a junior, and like this is all like trial and error for when you're in the open. It's not like, yes, we can get it right early, but you know you're gonna have a lot more meets, and there's a lot of things in the sport that you don't really have control over. If a 17-year-old kid comes out of nowhere, like, what are you gonna do?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So, which I guess is good, but I would imagine eventually, like, and this is a theme that's been in my mind a lot. I'm like, some of these lifters that are here at this meet, they've been at the top for many years with me, and I don't know if that's supposed to be that way. I think, like, the sport may get to a point where, like, our U.S. nationals, literally, like, 5 guys can win, like, 5 different weight classes. Like, that's why, like, Keiko winning all those years, it's kind of like he had to fight every single time. Yeah. But that does take a toll mentally, physically, emotionally, all that, because it's like nothing is guaranteed. You have no time to breathe. Yeah. And it is interesting, and I think it is somewhat unique to our sport. Complete opposite is like in American basketball. I think it's called basketball everywhere. I don't think there's anything like basketball. But in basketball, like in the NBA, you're like locked into like millions and millions of dollars, and like you could just be all right, and like you're still gonna get paid, and the guys don't try, and that's kind of like the problem that we're seeing now is like literally we are seeing guys come out and be like, yeah, nobody cares. Like people are just kind of doing whatever. Yeah. It's not like before with Kobe and Michael Jordan where they took it to another level, and it was like, I'm going to be so tenacious that if you do not match my tenacity, you're not even going to be, you can't even compete with me. And I do think that does exist to some extent in this sport, but at the same time, like I said, genetics like play a role, and circumstances and variables and all those different types of things. And like, I'm talking a lot, so cut me off at any time.
Who do you think is the closest to that Kobe or MJ personality in powerlifting?
Oh, boy.
Who has that tenacity?
I don't know if they have like the attitude like that. I think Russ can be when he wants to be. But I think that Europeans, in the way that, like, we just saw Gustav, that guy's like, maybe, he said,
the Terminator.
He said, maybe I'll smile more when I'm done competing. But right now, it's business. And I'm just like, bro. Literally. So like, my American girls and then my European girls. My American girls, like, they have so much going on. They're like doing all different types of things. They're very like all this things are happening. Yeah, Cranon, right? Like literally, like she's literally like a celebrity that I gotta be like, hey, we gotta train today. Nah, she's good. And then you have like Agatha and Alba and like those girls that are like regimented. Their happiness comes from lifting. Their day-to-day routine facilitates a championship performance. They don't have these distractions. And I think you can be successful both ways, but it's just another level that I don't, like every little thing down to the granular part of it, which is, it does go a ways. And I think if you could jump on that sooner, you're gonna get ahead. And I think we're starting to see more and more of that.
Alba seems to be a great example.
Yeah, she's really good.
Seems to be like,
but also she has good balance. Her significant other, I'm really cool with him, and like we had coffee this morning, and he's like, he understands what we're doing, and he like follows MMA. He understands that mindset, and he's really a good partner for her to help her like through. And like, I mean, there's gonna be days when you will have emotion. Your mind knows what the plan is, but you have emotion this day because you want this outcome or this thing to happen because we think that will kind of lead to like a good performance. But sometimes our emotion doesn't match the plan, and being able to also give yourself room. There's a lot of different things that go into it. Giving yourself the room to experience okay, let me feel this anger right now. Okay, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like you gotta process it and then move. But yes, having that tenacity. Jesus also, I think Keiko also can be very regimented. Literally anybody at the top is gonna be. I'm seeing that in Joe Borstein. I'm seeing that in him. I don't coach him, but he does have the qualities of that. I know that you're very regimented, but you're not like, you can laugh here and there, you're not just like, I gotta be miserable.
I will smile after I can beat it.
Which is
I
fine.
definitely had that though. I definitely had that for a long time until I started working with you, I would say. And through working with you, that's one of the biggest influences that you've had, I'd say, is like on my mindset and how I approach powerlifting as a whole, but through that, people approach life.
Stress so much on the programming and stuff like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's because
man, I would have been asking you so many questions in the beginning. I remember it's like a bad session. I don't get it. Why do I not feel strong?
Your boy Matt does ask me things, which I like because I want to. If you're asking me questions, that means you're involved, and that means the more of those questions that I can answer, we're just getting more in sync. And then that way, it can be like, oh, Joey wants me to do this when this happens.
I remember hearing you say in a video, you're like, it might take a little bit of time for different lifters, but eventually, when you get it, it's like you're perfectly in sync and everything flows. And I remember hearing that, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm getting there, but I don't fully get it yet. I did the workshop. Oh my
Filled in a lot of gaps.
My mind exploded, and from
I actually think my lifters benefit from the workshop a lot, because if you work with me, you're going to be learning my language and the way that I like to do things, and that's just going to
and from that it felt like completely synced.
So,
and then it was like I think that is the sharpest inflection point of from then on.
From then it went.
Everything just went. Woo!
I
think we've added 250 plus kilos to my total.
Crazy. So it's that's nuts. I think the mind is everything, and I think it's like being a little delusional, but I have a path to get there. Yes, the goal is lofty, but we could do it. And I think when lifters come to me and they have really a lot with the Europeans, they just have this. I'm thinking of this one French girl that I coach. The belief in me that she has allows her to have confidence in what she's doing, and that is it's hard for me to teach people that, coach, if someone is a coach and I want to give them that, to be able to give that to someone, it's it's hard. That is something that I think is unique to me. Of course, there's other great coaches too that have produced results, but I think just having buy-in, really high buy-in, really high faith and belief in what we're doing. I think that
was a massive thing for me as well. It's I know this guy has everything that I will need to get to the top. Whatever he says, I'm taking that on board. I'm putting it into place.
It gives me, dude, I had a surprise seminar today. I was I had no idea. I had no idea. And but I was calm. I was I could do it. I've done this. I kind of skim over my workshops, but I've done so many. So I just, I have the answers. There's nothing that I'm really afraid of. There's questions that, sometimes people ask me questions and it shows me where their mind is at. And I'm like, your head is not even in the right place. This is you're going to get lost chasing that when this is the path. You go to the road and you see the dark, evil way and then the light. And they're asking me questions leading them down that way, but it's you need to scrap that and go that way.
What are some common kind of misconceptions that athletes, because nowadays the athletes that are going to you are pretty much already at a high level. They've kind of built the base for themselves. So they've come to you after a number of years of lifting. What is something that keeps coming up, keeps arising? Is it the like overcomplicating of the program? What is it?
I think in those kinds of lifters specifically, like somebody who's already like pretty talented, I think they just understand that nobody at the highest level does it alone, and it's good to have somebody who's been there, done that, to like if I have the map of where you want to go, other people can get you a map also, but like I know my
you got
map
a pretty
works.
detailed map.
I know my map works, and I think that gives them that faith, that gives them that belief. I think when it comes to just like general people asking questions, there has been a crazy influx of like baby coaches, like new coaches, just like poof, right? Brother, two meets, you know, which is fine. I mean, I guess you could help someone that's only done one meet, right? But I don't know, like, so that has led to like a lot of questions about just like gaps in programming and like concepts and things that I've been doing this for so long that sometimes it is difficult for me to pinpoint exactly where. For coaching a lifter is easy, but coaching a coach, like when I'll teach them something, and I could tell that there's like, okay, the foundation of like muscle protein synthesis and how like hypertrophy works and like what timings matter for like natural lifters, and like they're missing that. They didn't get that educational stuff first. They didn't take, get Eric Helms has 2 books on nutrition, the other one's on training. They didn't read those basics first, and probably didn't. I don't know if they did any bodybuilding to start, but they're missing that. And now they're just kind of jumping right into the programming stuff. So like they see the program, but like they don't know the decisions that went behind it and stuff like that. So it's almost like, it's like when you cheat on your math homework, like you get the answer to the test, but like, but you don't know how you got there. And if it ever comes up,
different problem, you don't know the.
If it ever comes up, you don't know how to reverse engineer it. Yeah.
Like the questions they're asking aren't even in the same language as what gets you the answer in the first
place.
And
I don't want to discourage like new people from becoming a coach, but I will say that the amount of work that you have to put in is like way more than you think. It's like, the ones that stick around at last one, you got to have passion. You have to actually like care about it. You have to like be available for people. I'm basically on call. Like you guys can just call me whenever. It's like a lot of stuff that, needs to get handled, and it takes time and it takes effort. And, when I was younger, so around that 2013 time, maybe 2010, 2011, everybody was trying to become a personal trainer because like you just get this like cheap certification, takes like a week, and then you could just start training people.
Passionate.
Yeah, right. I would much rather like learn a trade or something. Like there's other legit jobs you could get, like deliveries, like anything, right? Like, but yeah, people just do that because it's like an easy thing and they can make money. And what I learned being in LA is if you want a lot of clients, you want to be successful as a personal trainer, you just have to look it. So you have to be in shape.
That's why we had shredded Joey.
Yeah. But there were a lot of guys who did like very strange, like hard workouts. They were just hard. And then the person
curling in the bottom of a squat.
And people are like, wow, I got a great workout. And it makes them think like, oh, this is gonna make me lose fat, right? When we know you could just train like however you want and just be in a deficit and you'll lose weight. But they look incredible, and the person, that's their credibility, right? They think like, oh, that guy has abs, like he could give me that. As someone who coaches like Lex Little and like Russell Orhe and like Cranon, like those type of like, they're like, they don't have to powerlift. Like Lex obviously doesn't, but he does, he is right now, like just for fun. But like that man's jawline, I can't train that. I can't train you to have that. You know what I mean? The way his shoulders,
I've been trying for that.
The way his shoulders insert into his, his arm, like I can't, bro. Like he doesn't have a waist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that guy's gonna look like.
I have his waist.
I took it.
So he is. Like, I think back then I kind of really realized like, okay, there's a huge difference between like results and like being able to teach it. So like I mean, the kids all the time will hit us up and they'll ask if one of my like strong lifters does coaching, and I'm like, they don't, but like I get it, like you know, or they might, or maybe they do, but it's like it's one of those things where you know, you just have to understand like from the person, and I think also kids, like if they're like 66 kg, you know, super mobile, pull sumo, and they have like a big arch on bench or whatever, they were gonna try to find someone that either is that or coaches that. But just because someone can do it doesn't mean that they could like teach you to do it. So, and I think we see that a lot with, you know, professional sports. Like a lot of athletes should not be coaches. Also, I think some of it is, and I know this is true to some extent, that athletes who have it come a little easier to them, like if some guy's just his body fat point is just going to be shredded with abs, he's like, this is what I do to be like this. Yeah. Like kind of like, did you see that video of Michael Hearn and Jay Cutler? And he's doing triceps, and Jay's like, do you go heavy with that? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, how do you do that? And he's like, I just lift it. And it's like, and Jay's like, well, like you can't. What Jay is basically trying to say is, if you're going so heavy on the tricep press down, you're gonna throw your lats in there, you're gonna use your abs, like, you know what I mean? But what Mike is trying to say is, I can still do it with like good form, but like I'm so strong that it's big weight. I'm doing the whole stack, right? But just seeing that interaction was like so funny, because you're gonna have these guys, like they're Mr. Olympias, that science-based lifters, and I'm not saying, the science-based bodybuilding community is very interesting to me, because some of them are aware of the science and then they do what's practical, and some of them are like, well, this is optimal, and if it is not this, it is bad. And it's like, no, like there are so many things that don't have to be, they just have to be good enough, and you're gonna get everything that you want. You don't have to, and then they like put others like, not like, example, one of my guys recently bulked and he cut down and he looks great, and people, the science-based community is like, I didn't mean to say it nasty like that. I have a lot of, I'm friends with a lot of those guys. They're just like, oh, well, this new study said that you actually don't need to bulk anymore, and you can main gain. And I'm like, yeah, you could do that, but if you're having fun, if you're like,
I didn't mean to say it nasty, but
if you're having fun with it, you're not getting injured, which could be a huge factor, is the durability that comes with gaining weight. You know, you're all good, and then you cut down and you get the same result. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does it matter?
I think that's another big thing that I picked up from you, is like, a lot of stuff works. There's more than one way to do it.
You don't have to be so rigid in your approach, and I do allow for like a lot of flexibility, and like, especially working with people like Crandon, for example, that travel a lot. A lot of times I have to make edits or be really creative to get the job done. And like sometimes you're going like this, but then you just get right back on track, and it's as if you didn't leave. So that's that's like another key thing, is like knowing the framework in which you need to operate in and how flexible you can be in that framework. It's like doing a taper for a meet. So just to give you an example, like you're gonna be strong for like 3 to 5 days. It's not gonna be like one day, you know? Maybe 5, maybe it's slightly smaller, maybe like 2 to 4, but that little window is where you're gonna show your best. There's other variables. Like if we're talking about just the taper alone and how that muscle damage and how that affects that, or like being able to recover from your workouts, that's gonna land, like that's one part of it, but maybe you peak like here, but the extra food that you're gonna have in the lower activity is gonna, even though this may start to drop, you're still gonna be way net positive. So it's like, yes, you might have a unicorn moment where you're like perfect, everything perfect, but it's usually a range, and it's usually like kind of like marginal of like how much stress you want to put in to get that tiny little extra bit.
So why do you think there is so much overcomplication? Because this, again, is one of the most helpful things that I have learned from you, is that it's not this like super precise, like sniping some sort of adaptation that we're looking for. Again, that a lot of stuff works, but why is there so much overcomplication?
Like
when you look online,
I have noticed that lifters from certain cultures or areas in the world are very they're very like technical, and they're very obsessed with like little things like that. And sometimes that does matter, but also there are times when like I said, like you just need to be operating in like a certain range, and it can be like really overcomplicated. And as to why that is, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to, dude, it's so interesting. Like in this sport, everybody's so like worried about being super precise with everything. But if you look at like in UFC and stuff like that, like there's definitely things that they're doing that are mildly questionable, or that
very
that's
questionable.
yeah, it's like kind of tough, or like just like why do they? I don't know. It's like different things that they do that I don't think is the most. It's not best for them like on the day, but like they have like enough genetics and enough of the things right to like still get a good result. So I don't know. I think people don't want to fail. People are investing time and effort into it, and they want to win, and I think a lot of it is also like artificially driven. There's also this like, I know it's like really common in like general fitness, but this sort of theme of like making the viewer or lifter feel like dumber than they are, and making it seem more complicated than it is. And then it makes them feel like they don't know anything.
And they need to go to you to buy.
Yeah, yes. When in reality, it's like, I saw an interview with Tyler Blevins, like Ninja, he's a gamer, and he was talking about like they were asking him, when you made all this money, like how did you like manage it? Because like so many guys like blow it and they're just screwed. And he said when he was trying to find like a financial advisor, he's like, all of them are good. You have to find one that you like, one that you could get along with, and you're gonna get a lot more done that way than one that I freaking hate when I have to interact with this guy. And interestingly, for some lifters, I would say people are pretty good about it now. And I would say that I'm pretty good at like, instead of telling someone, you squat very high, you are going to bomb out, feel bad about it. Right? That's like the worst way. Yeah. You want to be like, you want to do it in a way where they don't even know that you're really doing it, but you're helping them get to where they want to go. And like, I might just make a little suggestion, and then I'd be like, let's keep it like that. I'm not even telling them anything, you know? But yeah, I think people just don't want to fail. And I think the internet adds to a lot of, people are going to see the best people on the internet. They're going to see number one. They will compare to number one, and they're going to want what number one has. And they want it so bad that they think that they're doing some like trick to do that. Yeah. When they don't realize like that person is very gifted. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I think over time, like your first meet, you're going to be really nervous. You're not going to sleep. Next meet, whatever. But eventually, like right now, like I'm excited, but I know how it goes. You know, there's no surprises. Like if there's a surprise, you deal with it and you move on to the next attempt. But yeah, it's that prior experience gives you the faith and the confidence to like move forward and have a little bit of foresight, and also perform in a way that is going to allow you to be calm and like focused, as opposed to you're dealing with so much emotions in the moment. Like I have some lifters, if they get really emotional, deadlift form is out the window. It's gone. Like stay calm. Don't let their family members handle them on meet day. Don't let them be near them. It's too much. They need to just be calm, and everything will come to them. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think about that.
You just dropped like a ton of stuff. We were gonna like try to cue out of you like your kind of thoughts on certain things, but it's obviously just all up there. It's all ever present, and that's crazy.
Boom, man!
I think
look, all over the floor. There's just keys everywhere.
Crazy.
He's throwing them out.
I think a lot when I'm like, I have my mind is very. I just ask why a lot. I don't know.
We were talking about this last night, man. Yeah. When you're a kid, you're asking why, and you get told to stop asking.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
No,
you grow up and you learn.
I had a teacher in 10th grade. He was very strange. He never shaved his beard. He did like 80 dips between 2 file cabinets.
Yeah.
And 80 push-ups and 100 sit-ups.
80?
Yeah, I don't know. Like he was just like one of those guys that like every day got to keep a strong body. Like he would try to coach me. He would like single me out like you gotta lead, you gotta take the torch, right? And he was always like, you know, he would always tell me, Mr. Franzo, when they say go left, ask them why.
Oh.
And he would say, when they still go right, ask them why. And he's like, don't be combative, just understand and da da da. And he always taught me to like, just don't let someone like just try to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. And he really emphasized that to me. And I went to public schooling. My bad, I keep hitting this. I hope it's on.
You're good.
Is it on? Do I need a green light?
No, you're good.
I went to public schooling, LAUSD, where like a lot of famous rappers went because it's like whatever. I was in honors, but I felt like honors was like regular, and like AP was like, bro, those guys are like super smart. And then regular was like, not. They were like, yeah, it was like, not, bro, they need a little, like they need a little, which is fine. Like they need a little bit of help, but I had good teachers that. I think also the way that I coach, I had a basketball coach that was, he literally, and I had another high school coach that was like this. They basically said on basketball, if we are unbelievable at defense, and that's what we spend most of our time doing, it's not something that kids at this level are used to seeing. We'll have some offense in there, but we're going to spend most of our time on defense because that's more of like an instinctual thing, and you guys will know exactly what you're doing. And then in football, we ran like a few different plays for defense, but we were extremely good at them. And at that level, it was just like too much for teams to handle. Also, our offense was very intricate because our head coach he came down from a college, like he was just like retired basically, he was doing it for fun. And our offense was very intricate and complicated. But when I went to college, it was like this is another level of complicated. And then I kind of learned, like we had way more success just, you know, being really, really good at the things that mattered. And that's like, if I could sum up like,
That's another big thing that I've got from you is just put your effort into the things that matter.
Yes.
And then deciphering, sifting through, okay, these are the few things that move the needle, double down on those and all that. Because that's one of the things I would have been so bad at is overthinking the minutiae that don't matter. They're not affecting the training process that much.
Do I bench with my index finger or my middle finger? It's like, it's going to be really similar. What are you more durable at? You know, you could build both.
Yeah.
I think that this generation just needs to, like if a lifter came into the picture and said, I'm going to do this 10 years minimum, and I'm going to give myself the first 3 years to figure it out, they'd probably be a lot happier than like, tomorrow's my last meet ever. Tomorrow's my last meet ever. Tomorrow's my last meet ever.
This session in the middle of the block, the secondary day. Oh my God, it's the most important thing ever.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple people there, a couple coaches. Who have been like the most influential people in your life?
Snap.
Who has influenced you? Who's like?
Well, you guys want to know them.
Who are they? But what's the story? Yeah, tell us about them.
So, Mr. Flowers, I won't forget him. He was also my science teacher, and he taught recreational basketball. He was like 6'4", super skinny, had really long dreads, almost looked like he was Jamaican. And he was like, but he was like really, I'm telling you, like with some of these like mentors, I guess you'd call them teachers, those guys, they like take a liking to me. They take some sort of like, I just now saying this to you, I feel like they feel that like when they're speaking to me, I want to like use it. What they're saying to me is going to like go somewhere or like make a difference. And I was just like, I'm just playing recreational basketball in the summer, but I was taking that shit serious. Like, and I knew that through that, it would make me better somehow. I'll learn something. I learned a lot from that. And Mr. Flowers was one. I don't remember the 10th grade. I think it was a history teacher. I don't remember his. He was very interesting though. I had another teacher that she let me bend the rules in a way that allowed me to sort of explore. Like she, like for example, if I had like, I was gonna miss something because of football or whatever, she wanted to support that. So she said, she was very accommodating, where usually teachers are like, nope, it's gonna be right there, and if not, I feel like some teachers just like asserting that.
Because I said so.
Yes. And I think she knew that if I have like 6 teachers in a day and like 5 of them are very rigid, like that's it, deadlines, whatever. What happens if we allow? And I've heard now. I was asking a dad about being a dad, and he was saying that there are schools now that allow sort of free. The path of the learning of the child is based on their mind and where they kind of show strength. And doubling down on your strength is something that I think. I think I can interact with a variety of different people and try to have some sort of empathy and display or portray a theme or concept in a comprehensible way. And I think that's my power, and that's what I do, right? And this sport just simply allowed me to do that. I tried the physical stuff. I'm pretty good at it, but I wasn't like the number 1 best genetic freak. I'm also understanding like how things work, and then just like, trying to like deduce what I need to do to be better. I don't know. I think that's what I'm good at. It's just, and those teachers all helped facilitate that in me in some way. Yeah. And I'll never forget, I think my high school football coach, Coach K, I'll never forget him. He was very hard on us. I think the things that we had to do will probably get somebody fired now. Like with just the punishment. Yeah. But we built resilience through adversity. We built like character. I learned about camaraderie. A lot of the tough things that we went through, I genuinely felt that when I graduated, life would be easy because that was so hard. Little did I know that like moving out on my own and going to college, that was also tough. But I have always, like, numerous theme in my life has been taking on more than I'm used to and growing into the person that can handle those things.
Jumping out of the plane and making the parachute on the way down.
But like you have no choice. Yeah. I remember there was this one time I was like 20 or 21. I got a new apartment, I got a new car, I got a new iPhone, and I had like no way to pay for it. I figured it out. Yeah. I worked 4 jobs. I did what I had to do. I made ends meet, and then I started to realize that, like, oh, I could do this. Yeah. And yeah, you just learn how to be like more efficient. You learn how to, not like Elon Musk level, that guy does everything, but you just learn how to focus on what matters and keep the train moving. And I think that has really helped me through, like my dad passed away recently. I had 2 like pretty crazy back surgeries. Losing animals was really hard because my family's not that big. So like when you have a companion for 14 years and they pass away, it's like, bruh.
Remember the family.
And they're like, dogs are like innocent. Like they are truly, they will never hurt me, right? But when all that stuff happens, or like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, thank God I haven't had this happen to me. Like, I could think of a couple of times, like 4 years ago was probably the last time it really happened. Like a lifter would like leave me that I was very invested in, and it would hurt like a lot. It felt like almost like a mini breakup, right? But you start to build like tough skin, and you just like, there's so many other amazing things to be thankful for, and we just got to keep moving. But like dealing with like death and dealing with just really bad stuff that can happen that you have to deal with. You guys, like the lifters, like my team, give me so much purpose. And I think as a man, if you have that purpose, you can't, like, depression is like a tough thing, but I think being busy and having a reason to keep going will get you out of all of that. Like, yeah, I could have easily been depressed like 1,000 times, but it's like, they need me. I can't. I remember waking up from surgery, being in the hospital bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and Sam was lifting Curly Monster at French Nationals, I believe. And I was like, texting her through the meet. Like, yeah, I'm fucked,
delirious.
bro. I was fucked. Yeah. So it was you guys like really are like my life, and like this is, like even yesterday, like I had like just a little interaction with my lifters, and like I just saw everyone recently. Like I saw you guys in August.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. I saw Russ in June, Sonita, all them, and I'm like, I'm home, like in my routine, and like you kind of get in your zone, and I'm kind of like flat, and then I get here, and I'm reminded like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah, I'm shit.
I was gonna say like the empire is the word that comes to mind. The empire you built. Do you get the opportunity to like stop and smell the roses to appreciate that? The correct, like we're here at the biggest competition
recently
possible.
Like it took me a while, but I've been trying. My brother Chris, we should probably see him after this. I think I know he's here somewhere.
Big body.
He reminds me, because sometimes I'm so like buried, my like head in the dirt, like let's go, like focus. He'll remind me like, hey man, like look at what you have, like it's gonna be all right, We never really, like, I remember when I was like 17, 16 maybe, to take the bus to go to work in Beverly Hills, I had to take like 3 buses and one like bus, subway, bus. And there were times like I just like risk it. Like I had no money. Like I had $1.25 to get on, so I just go. And I got caught a few times, but it was like going from that and having the mindset of how are things gonna be handled tomorrow, to I still have that. I still have that mindset of like everything could just end, right? Like when we got locked down, that was kind of like insane. I still can't believe it happened. Streaming helped a lot, just being to connect with people. I got to spend a lot of time with Tina, and I was like, maybe this is what retiring feels like, because you're just nothing to do. So
setting up the bunker.
The first couple weeks, nobody had a way to train, so I was really free. Like I had a lot of time, and that was so insane to me. And I remember there was this website I would check every day, like so bad, and it would just show the death counter, and it was just like crazy, and it really scared everyone. But yeah, you just gotta live like it could end at any moment. Be thankful for all of it. I can look back at the times that I've thankfully, like the few times I've been at your meets or seen you do something, and I'm like very thankful for those times. Or even though like John Hack doesn't lift with me anymore and he's like doing something different, no one can ever take away the history that we had together.
Yeah, we've mentioned like those special moments a couple of times.
Yeah.
Are there any moments throughout the journey that stand out as like particularly emotional, or they are like they stand above the rest? Maybe there's a lot of them, but what are those powerful moments?
The first Sheffield was a big one. Keiko losing and then winning when I was there was huge. Russ getting his first world title against Gibbs, who beat him once.
Yeah.
That was a big one. Also, again with Keiko, he won nationals. We got locked down. He had to win nationals again to get one worlds. Yeah. Like you won 2 nationals to get one worlds. I felt so relieved when we finally got that, because it was just like, bruh, like please let him get this. Let me think. Like crazy moments like that. I'm just trying to think. There's like so many throughout the years. I think Jesse Norris 2016. The way that meet was panning out, they got him on depth for squat, but it was like, bro, it was so deep. And then he had like a shoulder injury, so his bench didn't go well. And then for deadlift, he pulls like 355 or 352 conventional, and then it was like it might have been 778, so 352, I think, and then, no, it was 350, I don't know, something like that.
Ridiculous.
And then he was using this, like, crappy belt, like, it was a prong belt, and, like, the hole was right here, but the other half, like, right, it was, like, ripped. It wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And I just remember he's kind of stoic. He doesn't really, like, show too much emotion. But I remember Dave Ricks was having the meet of his life, and I remember getting in Jesse's ear saying some epic speech. I don't know. And he went out there and he pulled it. And then after the meet at dinner, he said, I just want you to know that I've never had anyone like coach like yell at me like that, and it helped me a lot. And I just felt like I could do it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that was the best 93 lifter of all time. Like, I'm set. Like, that was, I really am thankful for that. And, it's just, I think also at that meet, Grant Higa, I don't know if you guys know him, but he used to lift a lot. I don't know where he is now. He won that meet to go to Worlds, and he, like, broke down into tears because it was, like, a big goal of his, and his family was there, and he was getting older, and he wasn't sure he could do it. So I remember how crazy he went after he got it. Just being able to be a part of a lifter's journey, and, like, just
such intense,
I hope to, like,
such intense emotion.
Yeah, it's I don't even know if the lifters realize, like, that when I first met you, like, your life was this, and now it's this, right? Like, it's a new reality, and I'm very thankful that through this little, very niche thing that we do, some days I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do I do this? Like, who cares, like, what we're doing? Like, when I go to, like, I remember when I went, like, when I first got with Tina, and I would go with her family, and they asked me what I do, they just didn't understand. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't either. Like, because we were on the internet. It's weird when people ask me what I do, I'm just like, they think powerlifting's like Olympic weightlifting still. Or they think it's like, something else. Like, I don't know why we're like that, but it's...
That's a good...
Maybe one day.
That's a good question there. What could powerlifting look like? We're at this meet now where there's all this money getting thrown around.
This meet is definitely... I'm going to tell you guys, I've done this 3 times. If this one feels different. The first one was obviously sold out, but this one feels different. There's more concentration on it. People that I haven't spoke to, I kid you not, in 10 years that happen to be here are like, I might come. I heard that you're in town, and I saw the videos, and I think I want to go to that. And I think this meet, like when the federation split, I knew about this meet, and then it got canceled. And I guess I just really believed in what SPD was trying to do, and I didn't lose faith. And people were like, Sheffield this, Sheffield that. There's still people that try to be like, it's not that big a deal. I'm like, brother, I don't. If that's what you think, I don't have to tell you, but I don't believe that anyone that has competed in a meet can come to this meet and be like, yeah, it's not a big deal.
It's whatever.
There is no way. Like, we made Junior Worlds feel lit. Like, that was fun, right? The 93s I know had a crazy set. Was it, no, 105s had a crazy session, or 93s?
93.
Yeah, with Nathan, right?
Yeah.
So I know that. But we're making that. Like, that's like the lifters that stick around, right? But this is like a best of the best. They actually have like real rivalries now, like all that stuff.
The storylines.
Yeah, and I think it's important for like someone in my position and like the lifters, like don't let that stuff. It's all like, some of it's real, some of it's like a little exaggerated to get people in it. Yeah. How many times do we see fighters fight and then afterwards they're like,
we're boys.
McGregor's like, hey man, I know I insulted your whole bloodline, but it was just a selfish ticket.
Yeah, it's just business.
But in some cultures, that's not cool, you know. I get it though, and I think I've grown a lot more resistant to those things as the time went on, because it's like, what matters is what matters, and that stuff is just kind of noise, and I'm not gonna let it. I'm not gonna. I might judge a little bit, but I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll use it as like an artificial chip on my shoulder, but it's like, brother, like
you're not gonna bite too much.
I don't. I will like coaches live longer. Like they don't live longer. They're like a lifter's time may only be like, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, 2 to 4 years, and then they go do something else. Maybe they start a family. Maybe they don't have the means to be what they want, whatever. Some do it as like a lifelong thing, but I've seen like many generations come and go. Yeah. The top names 10 years ago are not the top names now. The top names 5 years ago, there's very few left. People were being hard on Amanda for like her progression or something like that, and I'm like, she's the last man standing. She's the only one left from 2019 that is still a world champion today. Russ, if he had one that would be, he's still at that level, but there's nobody left. There's nobody else. What does that mean to people? Like, what is the value in that? You know, like that to me is like almost more impressive. Like, yeah, I mean, you might be a young phenom, you come up, you hit a spurt, and then you're done, you know? But like being able to hit that and then like consistently go slow and like stay on top, I think that's very impressive. And
why do you think you guys have been able to do that more so than anyone else?
We do a lot of, I mean, there's guys that I think of, like Ashton's been competitive for 5 years. Keenan Lee has been competitive for 5 years.
What does everyone who stays at the top for a long time?
From my experience working with my people, it's just knowing when to pull the trigger and knowing when to back off. Resetting. Sometimes you need to adjust mentals. Sometimes you need to adjust physical things. Sometimes you need to rearrange your life for a minute. But I mean, Keiko wanted to take a break after the first Sheffield, and like me and a little bit of SBD had to like convince him, like, brother, you're on top right now. We could do another one, right? He got second, so he got paid. So like we could, you know, we could. He might be the most paid out male that's ever done Sheffield right now.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then he took his break. I knew we were kind of on borrowed time for that. Let him reset, but now he's looking great. He squatted like 285.
Took a break. He's stronger now. Break.
Yeah. He took 285 yesterday or the day before I left, and I was like, brother, what? Wow. That was good. If you hit 320, it's over. So it'll be good. But I think just understanding when to push and when to pull back. Yearly planning is really important, and just like dealing with that type of stuff. You've had a good bit of longevity, and you're still going, and I don't see any slowdown. And obviously, being young helps. But my question always is with younger guys is how is their mind going to change when they hit that 23 years old? You got to be in the open now. And how durable are they going to be? I'm very thankful that, I mean, you just can't get caught in the windmill of squat, bench, and deadlift all the time. Like, you got to just know when to pick and choose. Take your weeks off when you can. The mentality of, like, the Kobe mentality doesn't match as well because, like, basketball is a skill. I really like certain card games, and the more that you put time in, you will get better. And now you can do it online, so you can just get better and better and better and better and better, right? And then you start to become like a machine. And I think that if I'm going against another good player, I'm like, oh, this guy put in the time, right? And powerlifting, it's like you got to be smart. You have to go hard, but you have to be smart. You have to do like enough. You're trying to trick the body. The body, holding muscle is like demanding. It's metabolically demanding on the body, and they would much rather you be like a stick, right? Because it's easy. And I mean, I can just tell you being like 260 and then being like 220 pounds, 100 kg or something, so different. I remember when I first went up to like from like 90, like I'll just say it in pounds because it's American, like 200 pounds to like when I slowly went up to 240. My knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my back hurt, my this hurt. But you get, the lungs. But you get used to it, and then you can move up even more. So, but I think the human body, this sport has taught me, is truly amazing. And there's this concept that I believe was brought up on Joe Rogan by someone that so like swinging a baseball bat is like, I think it's like objectively terrible for like your shoulders, right? Like it's just full speed, or throwing a baseball, like full speed, whipping that arm around, you're just messing everything up, right? Which is why like Tom Brady's like longevity in the NFL is so fascinating to me, because I was like, dude, he did it for so long, and it's amazing he's not destroyed. Maybe later down the road he has problems, but your body will adapt to that stress. You could have terrible form, and your body you could actually like get strong. Like there's some lifters right now that have like not the most aesthetic form, but like they can perform the lift to competition standard, and they're not hurt because they practice it. When I started benching like heavy for the first time, I have like small arms, and like I used to get this ache in this bone, like deep bone ache that I felt like when I would release the bar, like when I would rack it, it would feel like, ooh, like this, like, this, like, and I started getting it in my shins too when I got strong on squats. That just like, but you get used to it. That's going to take a longer time to heal, because it's like, you're like making like really tiny breaks in your bone, like so unbelievably tiny that's not really messing up the integrity of the structure, and then it gets stronger. I think I saw a video on like the cartilage in your discs can also get more dense. I would be more interested to learn more about that, but that's like the body could just figure it out, and that's what I kind of learned. Like, I mean, I squat a particular way. I like to turn my toes out a little bit. I'm pretty upright. I'm not trying to be upright, I just am. But it worked for me, and I was able to hit numbers that.
I love that when you get a question of like, why are you doing like this with your technique? And almost always the answer is because it feels good. Like,
feels good. Feels good. I could do it safely. I'm able to keep moving forward, and I don't have to like have too many interventions till I get where I want to go. No, don't get me wrong. There's times when like I'll be very stiff a certain way, and I might do it another way just for a second. But it's as long as I'm keeping like to the overarching theme, then it's all good.
My coach, I don't know if you've ever met him at an international. Probably not. I hope you do someday, because there's actually, though they're two very different people, and grown up, obviously always knew Joey Flexx, and I've had the same coach forever. He's from Ireland, down in Cork, and though you're two very different people on the surface, or present to two very different people, you share a lot of qualities that I think make you both like master coaches. I think like there's a few core principles in there. It's like you said, a few people have been in a flash of the pan coach. Like they're just here, or you have people coming from those coaches and they don't understand the underlying language. It's like both you guys have developed this like base of, first of all, it's like you are now able to simplify things so much.
Yeah.
Because at the start it's simple because you know nothing. And then everybody else is in the middle where they know enough to think it's overly complicated. And now you know enough how to bring it back into simple. And then you have this like interpersonal, even just like ability to connect. Like you identify with all your lifters. Like we started the conversation by asking about Flex, and without us prompting you, you were talking to us about Flex through your lifters. You've talked about a ton, right, and dropping all these keys. And then kind of one thing that's like stuck in my brain now that I want to ask you about it is, back in the day, these teachers saw you as someone that you were actually taking on board the information. You're going to do something with it. And it's like, is that the early sign of a leader? And then why do you think you have these abilities? Why do you think, what sets you apart? It's like, as a kid, you were just in that class. It's like, was it your parents? Was it your family life? Was it other people in your life? Was it these teachers and mentors showing you that you could be this person?
I think I will also mention that when I was younger, like middle school and elementary, I was very not rowdy, but I was annoyingly like, I don't think this serves a purpose, or like I was just like, this is kind of a waste of time, and I'm not interested. Or if it wasn't, if it was something I was truly interested in, that I was locked in, right? I remember being in 3rd grade, and I remember I would bring my Game Boy and I would like sneak in and play Pokemon under the seat. But my scores were good, so my teacher was like, "Go ahead." He was like, "Go ahead, brother. Like these kids are way behind where you're at." I'm not. I don't think I'm like a genius or anything. I just think that why I am the way that I am is basically what you're asking, right? Like, how did I get this? I think I felt that what was being taught would be meaningful, and I think people want their they want like return on their investment, or they don't want their effort to be like zero. Like I know that I straight up in community college I had this one teacher. He literally told us. He said, "I'm a tenured professor. I can't get fired. You guys don't want to be here. Let's work together. Let's do the bare minimum we need to do so I can get paid and you can get paid." You see what I'm saying? I was like, yo, this guy's great. So like, that was a very interesting experience for me. And this was like, phones were not what they are now, right? I could just record anything. And I think seeing the contrast in something like that, where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to show up to this class, do the bare minimum, and get out, versus, oh, this teacher is trying to make me a better man, right? That is something that I guess like I said, they probably felt like I was listening, and people just want to be heard, or they want to make sure, they want to feel, to be an educator like that, like a normal, like high school teacher or whatever, I would imagine they did it in the beginning, at least because they actually wanted to help and they wanted to make a difference. Maybe it became financial for them later, but they don't get paid very much in the States. I actually have a lot of friends who like they're barely scooting by and they're all teachers. Cool people, but they like, I would look forward to office hours with my economy teacher, because I felt like, dude, this guy is like unbelievably smart and I'm gonna get a C, but I still want to like learn from him while I'm here. He was the department chair of econ, and I remember my best friend at the time was the kid who didn't study and screwed up the curve because he would get 100%. And he had to exclude him from the curve of the class. I'm not joking. And I've always kind of learned that like, I know like what I'm good at, and like I think having somebody around, almost like a Grant or like Tina, where Tina's very good at things that I'm not good at, and Grant's very good at like, he could be like the quant, he could be like the, like so Sheffield, like all the numbers are changing. I'm working on like the ground stuff, I'm working with the people, whatever, and I see their opponent, what they need to hit, but then he'll present me like, these are the percentages they can hit. It is unlikely that this person will finish with this, so I think we can bet that they'll miss and we'll hit this. And like, doing that with one lifter is easy, but like having somebody like that to complement what I'm doing is when I also realize like, it's important to, I feel like I've seen this on like some, like one of those like male like development, like it's like you got to be like a higher level like thinker, like find people that have the answer to the questions you haven't like pay them or whatever. And like I think it's like, yes, a lot of it is like coming from me and like I have to do it, but I think it's also like if I'm with a teacher or someone that I know is better at something than me, like I ask like Coach Will, I ask him like, I know the answer, but like I'll just like throw him things and be like, hey, this is a strategy I'm taking. How's it look? And he'll be like, oh, I've never thought of it that way, or oh, that's good, or whatever. It's not too often, but it is good to have like someone that I respect in the same camp that, or I might ask him like, so for Ina's deadlift, you did it that way. I did it this way with, I don't know, someone. Like Crandon peaks crazy on meet day. Like I did it different. And then we talk about it, and then
it's like a little mastermind community.
It's kind of like if we things like everyone's like performing, right? And then we have like an outlier, like, oh, that was a really good thing. Let's look at that. How did that happen? Yeah. Like, why is Alba like just right? Like, what's going on? So stuff like that. Yeah, I think just being able to extrapolate from, like, you can't have ego. You could have some, but like you want to have self-confidence, but you can't have like.
You need to be okay with being wrong.
Yes, and so yesterday, one of my lifters, maybe I'll talk about it after the meet. We're making a change to the taper that is different, but it also is satisfying certain requirements, but I've technically just never done it this way. And somebody with them was asking me, like, whatever you think is best, we will do it. And I said, that answer, nobody can give you. Like, I can't give you that answer. I don't know the answer. Because we would need to test it like 10 times and then like look at it and then see like, oh, it was like 7 out of 10 times it was better. It's probably better if we do it, right? So I had no problem saying like, I don't know. And that's why I delegate to like Kedrick or like Fam's helping me with Russ, or I'm very thankful I have a good relationship with Alberto Nunez. I don't really reach out to Helms, but my brother has before. Brian Miner, like these OGs that like they do bodybuilding, they're like in that, like the nutrition stuff, like they got that. Like I could just talk to them like casual, like, and that's cool. I mean, this is like, I'm not doing that like all the time, but it is nice to just see what one of the elders, you know, I mean, because they're not on IG like I am or like we are, and you know but it's interesting, like. Remember how earlier we were talking about like the newer coaches, and I could tell there's like a gap. I think it's really important that foundation is somewhere. And I wonder if, you know, they have like kids now, or like they move on and they just are retired or whatever. But like the gold mine of the founding people, right? Like I think Mike T is like one of the few OGs that's still here. For like what we're doing, right? Obviously Matt for meet day, and I'm trying to think the coaches are relatively new here. They're not like super old, but it's good. I wonder if they'll be lost on this next generation, and maybe there'll be like some gaps in that, unless it's like I know their content will live forever, but they got to look in the right places.
Yeah, there's a wealth of information out there if you look.
I think also. I mean, I know, like, I guess I won't say the name, but there are some people that are prominent in entertainment that I've known for like 12 years, 15 years, 13 years.
I'll figure out who this is.
Yeah, that they have kind of stayed relevant as they've gotten older, collaborating with the next generation. And I think that's a good strategy. It's like taking two audiences, old and new, putting them together. But you always kind of like I mean, Drake has stayed relevant for so long because he always collabs with the new hot guy, right? But they can't get too big, because if they get too big, then he cuts them off. But
Crazy.
But I don't even know if that's true. But
Drake, if you're listening, don't worry about it.
Don't do it. I am from LA. You know,
the knock on the doors.
Well, you know, I think Kedrick is like West Coast, but Team West Coast, but yeah, anyway. Kendrick. But anyway, yeah, I mean.
Something we've touched on a little bit, a couple times, is the world of bodybuilding.
Yes.
How much overlap do you think there is, or how much is there to gain?
Infinite.
From looking at the world of bodybuilding?
Infinite.
Yeah.
We're doing the same thing. We're just changing the training towards our goals. I think you should still eat like a bodybuilder. You should eat to perform. You should eat for your goals. Focus on protein, all those types of things. Go to ratios. Cardio can be used as a tool, helps with recovery, helps with weight loss, whatever your goals are. And then hitting those protein timings. as a drug-free athlete, hitting your training in a way that is going to facilitate positive nitrogen balance within the muscles, or you want to synthesize protein, so it will probably be beneficial to you to hit those muscles 2 to 3 times a week as opposed to just like once a week. So like literally like infinite, like it's very important.
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to explore more myself, like for my own coaching.
If I'm watching anything that's like valuable because I just have it on, I'll just send it to you. Be like, brother, this is some good keys.
Yeah, the 3DMJ stuff, I like that a lot.
Yeah, they're
like
good.
Alberto,
Believe it or not, Dr. Mike's very good at presenting.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much in practice because everyone says he can't get shredded, but
so harsh.
Yeah,
so harsh.
But I think he's been very impactful, and I think he has a good sense of humor, so like he doesn't let that stuff bother him. I mean, maybe he does, I don't know, but I think he's been really good with also dismantling things and then trying to teach it to like Susie Lou, who's like, never lifted a weight before and she wants to get into it.
Packaging that maybe perhaps it's slightly more complex information in a very digestible way.
Yeah,
he does for sure. Very accessible recently.
Yeah, he's popped off.
A bit like yourself, taking those complex topics, giving them
I try to, yeah. I try to. It could almost come off as like, I think like some people might see it as like I'm making it so simple that maybe I don't know, but like no, I can open up if you ask me, but you don't need to know.
It's knowing what not to say almost.
Yes.
It's knowing how to condense.
You can overcoach. You can definitely overcoach. You can give someone so much information they're like, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. And maybe like if you have a library of books with keys, you only need that one, that one, that one, and that one. Yeah.
I like that. I like that analogy. Right. It's a little bit past 7 o'clock. You said you got to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a couple more, it's whatever.
We have a couple more. Yeah, so we're talking about those things. It's like, okay, condense into 3. If you can.
The most important.
Yeah, what are some of the things if you can condense
if you're in like an elevator and you've got to just like, just get across the most important info to someone that they can carry through for the rest of their journey. Little nuggets. The ultimate keys. You're given
fatigue. Okay, just 3 like super broad topics for them. I would say fatigue management, for sure. I would say work on your mind, for sure. And that's like really deep, and you have to like, it's not just gonna be.
It's Pandora's box. Like
you're gonna be fighting what you feel a lot.
Yeah.
I would also say. So working on your mind, fatigue management, and then just really understand nutrition. You're gonna make better decisions, and like more often than not, and over time that's gonna add up, and you will be like so many times you're gonna be like gaining a little bit here, gaining a little bit here, and over time all those little 1% are gonna add up to like that's really all my team is. A lot of little 1% that added up to. This like for a little while at least, or maybe for a long while, like they're at a level where they're kind of ahead. I will say there was a time when people were really trying to figure out what I was doing. it was aggressive, like it was coming from everywhere.
What do you mean?
Like they wanted to find out if I was like I had like the secret sauce, like how do I get these results, like how are people training? I'll say this. I made a variables video that Carlina actually posted on her Instagram because it was like since that video, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I took that and I put it in front of the community and I was like, focus on this.
Yeah.
And I know because at the time, it wasn't being talked about. It was not, it was like, just train, whatever, right? But no, that really got people to like hyper-focus on like everything. And then, I don't know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Of course, people were doing variables before. But I just like kind of like put it in the forefront, and sometimes you just need to take a topic and be like, this is what you guys need. So nutrition, the mind, fatigue management, I would say that. Yeah.
I like that. Is there anything, given that you are seeing so much success at the moment. Is there anything that you are seeking to improve on, or you think you could improve on from where you are now?
Yes. There are lots of like other business things with Flex that I want to delve into, but I'm so involved in just the coach the lifters, answer emails, prep the lifters, travel to meet, that it is difficult. And I feel like if I took my concept or idea and brought it to like a builder, they could build the things that I want to do. So that, and then also obviously working on myself, just continuing to get in better shape, continue to improve, continue to be pain-free, continue to do those things. In regards to like powerlifting, like obviously continue to be a better partner to Tina, continue to be, I want my lifters to feel like I care about them, and I know they do, but you always want to, I guess I always want to, like sometimes you'll be autopilot, and I want you to know, like, I'm here. Yeah. I'm here, brother. Like if you need to call me, do it. Yeah. So that, and then I want to have more, like my goal for 2025 is have more calls or consults or talks with my coaches, the ones that work for me, because I want to, even if we're just shooting the shit for 90 minutes, like just having that, like me and Grant are really close, me and Will are really close. I'm sure Mikey just doesn't want to be a burden, but he knows he can hit me for anything. But like just getting them more involved and having them, me and Chris obviously, like my brother, right? Getting them more like, I feel like I experienced the sport at a level that I want everyone to. I feel like you guys do too. Like you experience it at a really high level, and like just like the enjoyment from it, right? And I want them to feel that too. And I want, like, there's just so much. I am very hopeful for 2025, and there's so much that I just want to do. And every year when I'm like, I have nothing left to prove, when am I, going to call it? But it's always like it's just always something new, and there's always more things to do. And my big goal for 2025 is that, and then really just this nationals is going to be the first nationals that's like kind of like it was before, where the feds were united, but we're getting like most of the people back. Not most, but like a lot. And I want to show this new generation, like, believe it or not, like, some people just know me as like some guy that has like good lifters, but they've never like met me in person. They don't know what it's like. They haven't experienced the atmosphere of like a flex battle, right? And I want to maintain that standard for them and continue to. I will say that like Powerlifting America has been amazing. They've been super accommodating. They've been so helpful. They freed me from the suspension, right? They got it out. They got it over with. And that was Flex. We handled. I mean, we did. I accomplished all the goals I wanted to accomplish, but it was just annoying. And I was kind of like I was told it was okay, then I was told it wasn't okay, but I was already there, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I don't know. It's I just want to continue to operate at this level, and I hope that people will always want to like seek help or guidance for me, and I hope that my existence in the space helps people, even if it's like one little Timmy out there in the middle of nowhere that listens to one of my videos from like 3 years ago and picks up on like one little thing. That's enough for me.
Well, I would say you are doing a phenomenal job at that.
Yes, you are.
The spreading of those ideas through the community, and then for myself, like you've had I don't even have the words to convey it, but you've had such an overwhelming impact on my life. Absolutely not just through powerlifting, my outlook of the world. And sometimes I think that I'm like, damn, I hope Joey knows how much like I appreciate the role that he has played in my life. And there's probably so many stories of that, of people you've never even met or come in contact with.
I've noticed that Europeans are very, you guys will let me know a little more, you know? You guys let me know, whereas like Americans are more, don't get me wrong, they will sometimes hear that, but you guys let me know, and you guys really make me feel appreciated. That's why I love, like, dude, I felt like so cherished at Malta. I was like, I was reminded, like, you know, this is what like it's about. So, yeah, man, I really appreciate your words.
Yeah. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your time today. This was amazing. I'm going to be watching back. I'm going to be picking up the keys again. I'm going to be picking up the keys again. Thank you for spreading all the ideas. Thank you for serving the role that you have. And
appreciate you guys.
Hopefully we can do it again. Good luck to you and the whole team.
We'll handle business on Sunday.
That is a wrap. See you guys in the next one.